Okay, let's start up Microsoft Project for the first time. You'll open to a splash screen that probably looks familiar to you if you're used to using any other Microsoft Office applications. You'll notice here there are several project template options you can choose from. You might find these helpful as you become more familiar with Project, and you could use one of these templates on a future project. You can even create a template from an existing project if you choose. But for our purposes, we're going to choose Blank Project. Now, this is the basic interface for Microsoft Project when it opens. You'll see the ribbon along the top. Again, this is very similar to other Microsoft Office applications, so it should look very familiar to you if you've used any recent version of Office. However, the tabs here in the ribbon are full of many project-specific features you probably aren't used to seeing in your typical Office application. So let's run through these real quick. The Tasks tab provides options for creating and organizing tasks in the project. Your Resources tab has got options in it for adding and assigning people or equipment resources to the project. The Report tab, obviously that's where you can review and generate reports from. The Project tab, it gives you access to project-wide commands like setting the project dates and the project working times. We'll be looking at this project information button later in the video. The View tab lets you change the view in the main window and manipulates how your project information is displayed there. You'll find that you'll use the view options quite often as you work in Project. And finally, the Tool tab, it's a dynamic tab, meaning it changes depending on what information is being displayed. It could be a Format tab as shown here, a Design tab, or a Layout tab. And then, of course, your File tab, that's where you can save, print, and export your project like any other Office application. Now, below the ribbon, you've got your detailed view panes. I'm currently showing a split view with the timeline view and the Gantt chart view showing. You can always tell what view you're looking at along the left side with these titles. That's the name of the view. And these views can be split as shown here, or you can do a single view. There are several ways to manipulate these views. You can do it in the View tab here and click on one of the view buttons in the different view groups, whether that's the Task View group or the Resource View group. For example, if you click on the Resource Usage button, it swaps to the Resource Usage view. Again, you'd know that by looking here, and you can see that you're in the Resource Usage view. If you wanted to change that to a Calendar view, you can easily do that, or Task Usage view. Now you'll notice I've got a split view showing the timeline here. The timeline simply shows you an overview of the entire project. You can control your split view here in the Split View group in the View tab. Right now I've got the timeline enabled, and we can change that by unchecking this box, and it goes to a single view. You can check the Details box to bring up a Details panel, which shows you the details about the top view. And you can also change the detail you're looking at in this drop-down. You've also got down here in the status bar the Zoom slider. It's very similar to other Office applications. You can see as I slide it from one end to the other, it's changing the zoom factor up here in the time scale. Now here are 5 shortcut buttons to different views. If you're down here in this area and you want to click on these, you'll change your view with these shortcuts. You'll notice since I have the detail pane showing, the Gantt chart isn't taking up the entire view. But again, I can uncheck the Details box up here and switch back to a single view. So you can change your views here in the View tab in the ribbon. You can change your views down in the status bar with the shortcut buttons. But you can also change your views over here with a right click in this View title area. A right click brings up a list of the views, and this is an easy way to change your views quickly. So you can see there's multiple ways to change your views when you're working in Project. Now, one of the first things you want to do when you start your project is change the way tasks are scheduled. By default, tasks will be manually scheduled. And you can see that right down here in the status bar. It's saying tasks are manually scheduled. You want to click on that and change it to auto schedule so you can take advantage of Project Scheduling Engine when you're creating your schedule. So click here on auto schedule and you can see it's changed to auto scheduling of tasks. That's one of the first things you want to do before you start entering any task information. And finally, before you start, you want to give your project a little definition. To do that, go up to the Project tab and click the Project Information button. It brings up a window that lets you set the start date of the project here in this field. So let's set the project start date for October 16 of 2017. And then click OK. And now you'll notice that the time scale has been updated with our new start date. I'm going to go back to our split view options and bring up the timeline view. And you'll see our project has a start date of October 16th, 2017. The last thing you want to do is identify the project with a name. Okay, to do that, go up to the File tab and then click the Project Information button. And that'll drop down and you'll choose Advanced Properties. You can make the title of your project. Let's change it to Suburban Park Homes. And then you can add your name as the author if you want to, or any other information you might want to provide about your company or what have you. Then click OK, and then the back button, and you are ready to start working on your project.